Okay, hey, another 1980s news as reported on comicbook.com. The Godzilla-Kong director has revealed a positive update on the Thundercats movie.
Oh.
Hey, Jaws, for folks, look, I invoked the Godzilla-Kong movie because the same director of that is the guy who's going to bring us the Thundercats movie. But, you know, good news is that this Godzilla-Kong is doing really well. It opened to $80 million in North America over Easter weekend. Despite getting shade from the critics, it wasn't quite double what the services had predicted, but it was close. And by day 10, its global cum had hit an impressive $361 million, keeping it at the top of the charts. So it seems likely there's going to be a third in these Godzilla-Kong crossover films. This is the second one they're together. Oh, did you see it, John?
John's happy?
Yeah. It was ridiculous, and I enjoyed it.
That's a way to describe it, yeah.
Unlike, so there's now two entities making Godzilla movies.
Yes.
There's Toho, the Japanese company, and then there's Legendary Films, who are doing the ones we see here in the U.S. Right. Although we just saw Godzilla -1 that was made by Toho last year. Right. Their agreement is they won't make one in the same year or something, I think. So this one just went over the 2003-2004 line. Whereas Godzilla -1 was a Godzilla movie that was all about the people and you cared about the people.
Yeah.
Godzilla-Kong was all about the monsters.
Yeah.
And the people were just the ants running around that were totally... It's like, oh, did we just kill 30, 40 people? Yeah, it's not important.
Oh, my God.
It was not... Yeah, they weren't worried about the people at all. And it was like a big video game. But it was also... You couldn't have made this movie 5 years ago. It wouldn't have been realistic and believable. And I thought it was great fun. It was a turn off your mind, popcorn, kind of summer movie in the spring.
Huh. Yeah, not summer.
I agree with that review. Cool. That's all it was. Just silly entertainment.
Yeah. Did you see it as well?
Yeah, I saw it twice, actually.
What?
Not exactly on purpose, but I went to see it with...
You accidentally saw
Look, I saw all of the ones.
I saw a movie.
I've seen all the films in this franchise so far, which began with, I want to say King Kong was the first one, right? Was it Skull Island?
The Skull Island, maybe?
Yeah, I think Skull Island might have been the first one. Yeah, before we knew they were going to do this crossover. Before they knew, probably. Right. So a friend of mine that I had seen Skull Island with years ago said, hey, you want to go see Godzilla? And I said, yeah, of course. So we went and we had a ball. And then a third friend of ours found out the two of us went without him and was mad. So then we went and saw it again with him within a week.
So there's your triangle of friends.
Yeah, that's
there
it.
You go.
Yeah, you guys aren't in it. Did you think you guys were in the triangle?
Oh, no, I wasn't assuming
okay,
that.
That would have been a pentagon. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I saw it twice, but it's silly fun. And the one headline I had seen a review was like, it's the kaiju movie you didn't know you wanted or something like that. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And
certainly silly. Yeah, don't pick it apart. Don't look for the science in it. Just enjoy.
Yeah, it's funny, John. You said about you couldn't make it a few years ago, and part of it, I think, for me is the effects, right? Because I wasn't. It's clearly most of it's visual effects, like overwhelming, because most of it, as you mentioned, it features the monsters. But I never really was like distracted by it. I just kind of bought into it for the most part.
All right.
Anyway,
I'm not going to add this to my watch list, though.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
No.
Seeing them.
No, it's fine.
If they happen to come across my vision, I will watch them. But I have too much else to catch up on.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, John.
I like how Kat gives us updates on what she's going to watch.
Giant monkeys. Yeah, I know. It's
what
so fickle, isn't she? With
I on my list, I move when I watch something, I move it down to a whole section of what I have watched.
Look, I love you, Kat. I love and adore you. I have no idea what John's watching on a day-to-day basis. I didn't even know if he saw King Kong. I had to ask him now.
Should I tell you more? I can every time I watch something, I'm going to let you guys
I feel like I know a lot already. This is what I'm saying.
I thought she was going to tell us that based on her opinion of us, she moves things on or off the watch list if she's happy or upset with us. Did Will suggest this? Not that movie. Not talking to Will today.
I could do that because he just said, I love you, but, so I don't know. Anything.
Oh, it's true.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Did I say but? I don't know if I said but. I don't think I would.
Maybe you didn't. Okay.
I love you, Kat.
Maybe you said but.
And but.
I got to save my voice. Anyway, look, the movie's a success, and so we're going to get a third one, no doubt. Hasn't been announced, but I know that the director Adam Wingard wants to do one, and it seems with this sort of juggernaut that it's become, he's likely to get one. But the good news for us is that it seems like we may very well see a Thundercats movie even before that, because we've been waiting since it was first announced in 2021 that he was going to make a film. And the good news is, like so many other projects we've been promised, and that seemed promising, this one has yet to be abandoned. In a new interview for the Godzilla-Kong movie, Wingard confirmed that Thundercats is still in the works, saying, quote, "Simon Barrett and I are still actively working on the script. We finished our last draft basically right when I was going into production on the latest Godzilla-Kong film, and we just had to put everything on hold. But right now we're actively working on it again. So whether that means it's the next thing to do, I do or not, I'm not sure, but it's a top priority." Now, what I thought was really interesting is, like many of us who've had fantasies of maybe what we would do one day, when we grow up, that kind of thing. It turns out that Wingard's been working on this for a lot longer than just 2021. He explains that his obsession with Thundercats came in high school at a time when he was learning that he wanted to be a filmmaker. And as a result, he didn't pay attention in school and it got terrible grades. He says that the reason is, quote, the reason is, quote, "I was writing my Thundercats screenplay through my entire 10th grade, and I was handwriting it. The screenplay itself ended up being 272 pages long. I still have it," end quote. I wonder if any of that's going to be in the actual movie when we see it. That would be pretty cool.
If it's written by a 10th grader, it's got to be good.
Yeah, John. A 10th grader could have written that Godzilla movie we just watched.
You're not wrong about that either.
I mean, it did feel like at times it could have just been kids playing with dolls, and that's probably how they came up with some of these sequences, right?
Oh, maybe I should watch this. It sounds entertaining.
There's this giant portal that you go through to the hollow earth, and I just imagine, that's like a blanket they have over a laundry basket, and they throw the monsters in there, right? It was just always like kids playing in a playground,
And when the one, I'll say this without spoilers, when the one ape used the other ape as a weapon, I love that part. That was the greatest. That was
ridiculous.
And fun. Over the top.
When I think about this Thundercats film, though, I can't get the stink of the 2019 Cats movie out of my brain. That was the last time we saw live action felines, and it was so unnerving and uncanny valley. It was like Judi Dench and Taylor Swift and like Idris Elba was a cat. I didn't watch all of it. It was crazy. And didn't they go through and like digitally de-butthole the cats after they had done? Like, it was ridiculous. And it looked, even what they ended up with was silly. And like, what are you going to do different with Thundercats that isn't going to look like those cats?
I almost wonder. I agree with you, because I think the first challenge probably is casting. But I agree with. Well, I shouldn't say the first challenge. One challenge is casting, but the even larger one is how do you portray them on screen. Yeah, I almost think it might be safer to just go, look, it's a cartoon that ran in the mid to late 80s. Maybe you should take it back to the 80s and get Rick Baker to make prosthetics. They look like cat people. I mean, and
just make them dogs instead. Just go crazy. It's a reboot. Do what you want.
Yeah. Thundercats, but they're
Thunder
dogs. Oh, just change the name. Lightning Dogs. Let's just rip it off. And just to be clear, it wasn't actually technically buttholes. That's what they said, but apparently it was just some kind of, it was part of like the armature that they were using to animate the cats, like it was in the area of the butthole. And they hadn't been covered by the, the skin or whatever that they stretched over the arm. You know what I'm talking about? All right, whatever. This is too much talk about buttholes. That's our other podcast.
Can you have too much talk?
1980s Now After Dark.
Well, John.
If you don't know,
probe.
If you don't know what Thundercats is, I don't know why you're listening to our show then.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, it's what... Anyway, I'm for it. I see lots of people online casting like their, Dreamcast, like Henry Cavill as Lion-O and that sort of thing.
Lion-O.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Like who else? Yeah. What about Snark? I guess Jack Black could be Snark. Snarf. Yeah, Snarf rather.
Snarf.
Yeah. He's kind of snarky, so he's Snarf.
Yeah, and he's probably going to be digital, right? I mean, probably. They could make him a puppet. That would be fine too.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Make him a puppet.
They need to go Jim Henson's workshop on this. I'm thinking now.
No, man.
And Stan Winston Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What do we got here? Nick says, John, I think you were a little rough on Ghostbusters. mashed a lot of stuff into the story, but I wouldn't call it a dumpster fire. Oh, hang on to that thought, Nick. We'll talk about that in a moment.
We're getting there.
Who had Marcus says who had digitally de-butthole on their bingo card? I don't know. Someone's going to be shouting bingo, I bet.
Oh.
Who's making these cards?